Hello everyone. Today is April 8th and I am filming a early spring pre-gardening tour. I wanted to be a little bit more diligent about doing this on a regular basis this year. So it's very early spring. The weather has gotten warm and now it's rainy and cool. And it's not planting season in Zone 5B, Northern Illinois yet. So I'm just going to take you around and tell you, or show you rather, the gardens as they are right now, and then sort of my plans for 2021. So these are the front gardens that are primarily decorative. Over the course of time, I'd like to start to switch these over to be permaculture gardens where they incorporate decorative but also edible plants. In this upper level, there's quite a bit of this spreading, creeping phlox that I intend to take out this year, actually. It doesn't look that great. It blooms really beautiful pink blooms that last about 2 weeks, and then it just doesn't look very good. So I think that this whole upper level corner, I'm going to try bulbs. I've never really planted bulbs before. I pretty much do everything either seeds or plant starters. But I think I'm going to try to do some succession planting of flowering bulbs so that I get some really beautiful flowers in here. And you can see some of the plants are starting to come up, but we're still expecting plenty of cool nights in the low to mid 30s. So most of these plants, these will all come back. There's some daylilies. There's 3 giant hostas that come up in here. They're massive, and I'll show you those as they grow. But right now, cleanup, mulching, weeding, that all needs to be done. I haven't even started the garden cleanup. This side of the house, last year, I planted potatoes. They worked out okay. I'm sure I didn't amend the soil properly for those. And it was kind of an experiment. And I'll explain what I'm going to do with potatoes this year. But instead of potatoes along this side of the house, I'm going to plant more flowering bulbs, just temporarily, because eventually this will all be dug out and we'll put in an actual stone border and create a real garden here. Now last fall, my vegetable garden took up this large area and it was fenced in. You can see the fencing rolled up there. This raised bed wasn't here. This raised bed is 6 feet by 12 feet total. And we put this in the fall after our patio was done. Our patio took a long time. We increased the size of our patio pretty significantly. But we put this raised bed in kind of because we have this giant boulder and we really didn't want it to be a feature in our yard. So it's going to be a feature in the garden. And this first raised bed is going to be herbs and flowers. So it'll be kind of a pretty, pretty and functional kitchen garden, so to speak. The area that I had fenced in for all of the different vegetables that I grew, I'm actually going to be adding 4 more raised beds, and each of those will be 4 feet by 12 feet. So there'll be 5 raised beds total along here. And obviously there'll be a walkway between each one. And that's where I'll be planting all my vegetables this year. So you're going to get to see a really big transformation over the course of the next 2 months from now until planting season truly kicks off, which is around Memorial Day here. It's really the safest time to plant. You can see we have some stones stacked up that were left over from our projects or pulled out of other areas. I'll use those to create pathways in the gardens. We're gonna come around here. Sorry for the heavy breathing. I don't think I've talked this much during quarantine, so. Back here is just my compost bin. And even though it's just starting to come up, that green plant there is not a weed, neither is the other little one. Those are in fact rhubarb. And then in these pots, and there's a lot of cleanup to do back here, those are actually climbing roses that will be climbing on this little fence. They came last year. I ordered them special, but they had black spot and they kind of went into transplant shock. They're budding really well right now, so I think that they're going to be fine and do a full recovery. In the brown pot behind the fence, that's a blueberry bush that's coming back really nicely. And on the trellis is a bunch of thornless blackberries, and those are budding really nicely. I know they don't look very good right now, but it is really early spring. Over here we have another blueberry, and then a couple of more roses, and I planted a lilac bush back there, but there's a lot of cleanup to be done in this area. Over there in that green pot, sorry for whipping around, that kind of pale green pot, that was a fig tree. I don't think it's going to come back. I should have brought it in for the winter, so I take responsibility. And then this area back here is actually not my yard. Beyond this trellis and these planter boxes, that's actually a neighbor's yard. So here is my rock garden. This is filled with perennials, actually. You can see that there is a bleeding heart coming up there. There's some lamb's ear, but this is filled with hostas and ferns. There's a rose bush in there. There's some other plants, so those will all be coming up as time progresses. Around this tree, I usually plant a lot of annuals around this just for some color in the middle of the yard. This year I decided to buy carnation bulbs, and I'm going to plant carnations all around this just so that I don't have to replant it every year, but I still get some flowers. Super important. The green stalk planter, that tall planter, inside I have seeds started on my seed starting rack, which I'll show you in another video. And I'm going to plant this all in alpine strawberries, which are a small variety of strawberry. I have different colors. They're small, but they're really, really strong in flavor. They're kind of a delicacy. So I'm going to plant the whole green stalk with strawberries, which will come back every year. And then I have a lot of plans for the patio. So all along there's going to be like a little deck between the house and the patio, and that is going to house containers with lettuces. And then I actually purchased an outdoor stainless steel sink that will sit over there, so that I can wash fruits and vegetables or wash my hands when I'm cooking on the grill, and it'll just hook up to the sink or to the hose bib, so it'll be cold water, but that's fine. And then these gardens, which I don't know if I showed you last year, I had tried to plant all kinds of things, direct sown seeds in here. Didn't go so well. Some things came up, some didn't. Got some small carrots, a couple of radishes, got a lot of sunflowers, but it just wasn't spectacular. And there's a rose there on the corner. So this year, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to plant garlic and onions in here. This gets tons of sun. It's got really nice loose soil. I actually put this soil in last year, so it'll be a good place for that. And I'll put some mulch down, and I'll hide some flowers in between just to give it some character and some pretty color to look at. But overall, that's kind of the start. That's the plan for 2021. Obviously, I've got lots of planters and stuff that I'll tuck in and around the gardens with flowers. Going to have a couple of trellises in the gardens for cucumbers and beans and peas. The nice part about going, starting over, and I've done this before, I've had many in-ground gardens, I've had different styles of raised beds. The nice part about building all new raised beds is I'm going to get to show you how I amend each one. Most of them will be amended pretty much the same way, but one of the beds will be amended especially for potatoes, and I'll get to take you through that process this year, so I'm pretty excited. And like I said, I'll try to walk slowly. My hope is that I can post a video, hopefully weekly, and show you the progress. Right now everything just looks so bare, but everything's getting nice and green, and time will pass really quickly. I will record a video on seed starting, and I'll also record a video about my seed starting rack. I actually have mine set up in the kitchen. And later on today I'm actually getting a seed order, so I will hopefully be able to post a video showing you what I got from Baker Creek or rareseeds.com. So really excited. Can't wait to get started growing. I'm obviously itching to get out here and start planting. So I hope everybody has a great week. I hope everybody's at least enjoying the warmer weather, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.